know there's maybe a bit of an icky feeling about paying for a blue check mark in the era of Elon Musk's Twitter, but it has its benefits as by these long range um, ability to post these long range responses in what we are going to revise 2023, the year of debate, which we originally had pegged for 2018. But that's it's one of the consequences. I think is not such a. I mean, as bad as it is in so many ways. Like I think what's happening to our discourse and to platform like Twitter in a lot of ways is that it maybe almost inadvertently in some ways opened up another avenue or outlet for the discourse and the debates that we talked about having back in 2018. So, yeah, this is in this type of event here. Excuse me. This type of these type of podcasts and your responses to them, I think, really do open up that discourse or open up to where people who might need to see some of these messages will at least get a basic view on a perspective they probably haven't heard before. So I think that as horrible I think the manipulation around a web in this case, it opens up parameters for conversation. And it may even, a web might even see like where some of her detractors are also similarly are lacking in certain areas of discourse and analytical precision. So has its benefits. It might feel icky, you might want to take a bath afterwards, but the blue check mark in this case, I think, is actually not is detrimental and problematic. Some people would make it out to be when you could use it for purposes like this. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Greg. And while the sort of previously blue check marks, the quote unquote earned blue check marks for public figures, who many of whom were the epicenter of things like the 11/9 truth movement on Twitter, especially during the Trump years, are now seemingly sort of abandoning ship, sort of abandoning the battle zone to some extent, and seeking safer space at other places like Mastodon or Blue Sky. Now, I think it's wise to have other alternatives at the very least, but this is still the battle space. And while we took a sort of a bit of a step back during many of the Trump years in terms of our sort of involvement on Twitter, we escalated the actual oral discourse in terms of our, still ongoing podcasts, long form discussions, and all of that. But I think it's a time for those of us, and it's a very small sliver of overlapping concentric circles who are still dedicated to the real aspects of the importance of 9/11 truth and justice, with the combination of 11/9 truth and justice. Both are continue to be under assault to some extent. 11/9 truth and justice is in even more sort of compromised situation than 9/11 is at this point, it looks like, especially in the wake of the Durham report release and all of that. But we're going to, escalate our re-involvement in relationship to this Twitter sphere. And then also, if any of folks who are down with us and listen to us want to help out in terms of the creation of Twitter uploadable either long form or short form video clips made out of our audio recordings, we could use that help, and I'll push them out on Twitter.